What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Two Guys Rambling. I'm Matt.
I'm Javi.
And we are back here again for another one, Javi. After Pete Johnson, man.
I'm going to talk more of this one, I swear.
Javi it was our first big name interview. Javi's idol. If Javi could have, he would have caught the ash. Right, Javi?
Oh my God.
The story?
That dude, terrible.
That is wild, man.
If that guy ever sees this, idiot.
Yeah.
Maybe we should tell him the story.
And you know who you are. Yeah, just Pete Johnson was here in town one time, and there was a fan there that was so crazy about Pete Johnson that he was literally willing for Pete Johnson to ash into his hand. Fucking people, man. People are crazy about some people, man.
Yeah, 100%.
We need some people like that.
And it's like everyone puts their pants on the same way as you do. Everyone, bombs Pearl Harbor the same way you do.
Same way, man. Same way. But other than that, we are going to have a great episode today. We're talking about Nazi conspiracies, all kinds of conspiracies. Everything from the Spear of Destiny to a fucking bell.
Yeah, to a bell.
Literally.
To how Hitler actually survived and didn't kill himself.
Oh, Argentina. No, but we got a lot. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the things down there at the bottom. Make sure you're following Two Guys Rambling and everything you can. We're still doing a giveaway of 10 cigars. When you go and you subscribe on TikTok, once we get 1,000, then we're going to give away 10 cigars. What we're going to do.
Yes.
But Javi, the way we start every single podcast, a cut and a light, right? What are you smoking today?
Honestly, I forget the cigar company's name. It's the Intemperance. It's the Whiskey Rebellion, but they're out of Austin.
Is that not Drew Estate?
No. It's they're out of Austin. They're kind of a boutique brand.
Drew Estate has a
yeah, but this one isn't that.
They have a whiskey one too.
Yeah, they do.
Something like that. Whiskey Chard.
This one's I forget their name. They make the Cro Magnum and all those other cigars. They're like a very boutique brand. Those YouTubers who I forget their names also. Wow.
Oh.
They go around and try new things. They went with them in Austin. They learned how to smoke cigars with them. I forget their name though. They had a big falling out with Corona cigars because all right, politics briefly.
Oh, Nomad? No, not Nomad. Damn, I can't remember either. Just kidding.
But like they had that beef with Corona cigars because Corona cigars is pro-Trump and this company isn't. Yeah. So he went and sold all their cigars at 50% off.
You've heard it here first, folks. Javi's anti-Trump.
What the fuck? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, wait.
No.
That's when the hate comments start, right? Actually. Right? What I'm smoking here is we couldn't even figure it out. Who makes this again? Steve Saka, but what's the company called? Not Simca, Permiso. Muestro de Saka. Let me find out. Muestra.
Yeah, I know we should have had these beforehand, but we kind of just grabbed the cigars like not even a couple minutes ago.
I forgot what it was though. It's like NH something, right? Oh,
yeah, not something Lancero.
Let's see. Muestro de Saka NLMTHA. I don't know what the hell it stands for though. Lancero. It's a Lancero. It's one of those badass ones that come in the little coffin. I hear Steve Saka's a dick though.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
He make some good fucking cigars.
He does. Though. Didn't he start blending with Drew Estate?
Yeah.
Liga. He made the Liga line.
He did.
And he was like,
I'm good.
I make my stuff so good that I can make my own brand.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna take this from me. I mean, whatever.
I built this from the ground up.
No,
and we dip our cigars in vats to give them the flavoring, to give them the smoke. Nothing but mineral oil out here. If you didn't know, that's why your Ligas or almost anything from Drew Estate. Can they get us for defamation if I say that?
Huh. I don't know, actually. I guess so.
Nah.
I mean, they would have to prove that they don't, though.
If you didn't, yeah.
They would have to prove that they don't dip them, so.
I mean, if you didn't know, theoretically, Drew Estate, the reason they have high smoke output is because they put like mineral oil and stuff on their wrappers.
The other thing, too, is that Lancero is the best size to smoke to get the most flavor. Yes. Come fight me in the comments.
It is.
I'll be there. If you're going to fight me on Lanceros, I'll be there.
I feel like Lanceros are like very elegant looking.
Yeah. Well,
like sophisticated.
Well, they think that people don't smoke them because they think they're too feminine looking.
Wait, seriously?
Deadass.
If you think the size of your cigar tells how much of a man you are, you're a bitch.
Yeah, for real. What up? No.
I want the biggest cigar in my mouth. See,
He's like,
that sounds.
I want
That
I want to hold it with 2 fists.
2 hands, and I want to barely be able to get my mouth around it.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
we got a lot of stuff going on.
That's
today,
you out
though,
there.
man.
That's you.
No,
you know who I'm talking about.
It is. I see you. I see you out there.
Ricardo.
Oh man, we're calling people out now. Jesus.
Nah, he'll watch this and he'll be like, he'll text me later. What
a dick. Yeah.
Why'd you put my name out there?
Dude, we got a lot of crazy shit to go
Yes.
over when it comes to Nazis. Everybody knows that Nazis, can we say Nazis? Are we going to get I guess we're not even monetized, so whatever. But Nazis are one of the craziest conspiracy backings out there, man, because there's so much shit that's unknown about them.
Their military was very...
There's so much known, but also unknown about them. You
100%.
know what I mean? Which is the crazy
It's
part
like the guy who recently found the Nazi train in the mountains in a sealed off tunnel where it had a bunch of Nazi gold in it and stuff.
Well, we lost a lot of art and history.
Yeah, because they were stealing them, right?
Because they were stealing it and driving. They were literally making train rails into, or train tracks into mountains and blowing them up, man, and then hiding them.
Yep.
So there's a lot of artifacts.
Or like
out
the
there
deepest lake in Germany, they found an all gold chalice that they believe was from the times of when Germany was very early. Wasn't really a country. Was dominated by the Romans.
Oh, damn.
And a golden chalice from then that the Nazis had, but they went and dumped it in the deepest lake in Germany because they didn't want other people like, the Americans or the Russians to take it from them.
Yeah,
after they lost.
I think that's one of the craziest things. One of the craziest things, one of the most interesting things about the whole Nazi regime was
their love
all
for
the
artifacts.
shit they took. Yeah, but I don't think it was just a love for artifacts. though. And here we go to the conspiracies. I think it was also the fact that they wanted to hide any kind of significance that wasn't Nazism.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean?
Yeah,
because they wanted to show. It's kind of like the North Korean way, where you can't really find anything else except that Kim the Ungs are the best and greatest things in the world. I think it's kind of that same thing.
Where they're kind of deleting history.
Exactly.
And where it's only Aryan and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think that's a lot of what they did. And Hitler was also, and we're going to get into this later on, but Hitler was also a
fanatic
in the terms of the paranormal and
like the occult,
the superstitions and all that stuff. Like he was really big into that. Like later we'll talk about the witches that he had, allegedly had. But like that's gonna be one of the cool things first. That's the first thing we're talking about. Shit, whoops! And what a perfect segue that was. So the first thing we're going to talk about was Hitler's secret witch project, which is a very, very well known thing. He had a occult obsession that absolutely, went on forever.
Like they believed in sacrifice and all that stuff because they thought it was like the actual witches had actual powers. Yeah. Like they had a connection between their ancestors and that they were able to heal people and speak to dead people and see things.
Yeah. So, Heinrich Himmler was actually the head of the SS and was deeply interested in the occult, astrology, and spiritualism, and Eastern mysticism. He believed in a mystical connection between modern Germany and their ancient ancestors and saw the SS as a quasi-religious order, which is crazy to think about.
And that's why...
Think about yourself that highly, right?
That's why they had Castle Itter, where they would do occult type of activities and stuff like that, where some of them are saying they'd even do blood sacrifices and stuff. And that's why towards the end of the war, when there was a battle over Castle Itter, which was the U.S. Army with the regular German military. They teamed up to fight the SS because the SS didn't want to surrender.
Oh,
because the regular military didn't see themselves like the SS because the SS, let's be real, they were brutal. They're the guys who were in charge of the concentration camps. They would execute prisoners, especially American prisoners and Russians. And so towards the end of the war, when they didn't want to surrender, we kind of told the regular German military, hey, we got to go fight these dudes. Let's go. So they went with us to fight them. But inside that castle, they had relics and artifacts, sculptures made out of pure gold and stuff like that. And they even, I don't know if it was a pentagram, but it was a circle that they would do seances in or something.
Is that where they found the Scarlet Witch?
I don't know. Right? I don't know. Good question.
Marvel, bro.
Maybe.
That's what that's the story behind Marvel.
Is that why she's not?
Oh God. So Special Mission H initiated in 1935 and headquartered in Berlin's. Come on, Javi, help me out here.
Where are we? Prince Albrecht Strasse.
What he said, I believe him. This project aimed to research witchcraft and its historical persecution in Germany. The crazy part is they actually implored numerous academics, including historians, folklorists, to prove that witch hunts were a conspiracy against Germanic people.
So are they talking about? Crazy? Are they talking about like early? Like we're talking like the Roman Empire times when they would, like when the Romans were like moved over to Catholicism.
Yeah, they feel that they had some sort of personal connection with them on a spiritual level.
Well, if you look at how the Germans were during the Roman times, how they were like it was very. Because have you seen? There's a lot of documentaries on it where when the Romans are fighting them, the Germans at that time were very like they said witches and stuff like that, witches, shamans, and all that, where they would do drawings on themselves and they would sacrifice people. Yeah. Where it was very what's the word that Catholicism says? Where it's
not like symbolic, but
no, it's pagan. They were pagans.
Pagan, there you go.
So they would worship gods and stuff like that. So I get why they want to go back and like, okay, well maybe there was some power there. Maybe there was something that made our people win against the Romans, honestly, in some of the fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, dude, isn't that crazy?
Like to get historians,
like the other thing too is that the document collection that they did, the Nazis collected over 140,000 documents related to witchcraft trials from archives across Germany, Austria, and other occupied territories. The collections included interrogation protocol, court proceedings, and personal accounts, many of which were destroyed and lost during Allied bombing raids. But what they were doing is they were literally having a data mine and trying to almost prove to themselves the kind of witchcraft that was out there and make like a witchcraft database.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get where they're coming from, because aren't you sometimes intrigued by the occult and demons and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're like, well, if it's real, like, what kind of power is actually out there?
But see, that's the difference between like fucking me reading about it, right? And then trying to figure out like
how real it was.
How do we use this?
Actually using like government entities. Yeah.
And use it for war, right? Like that was the end game. The end game was how do you win the war with this stuff, and how do you get complete power, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's what they were trying to do. So the fact that they were like to put in the work to get 140,000 documents just on witchcraft alone, what does that tell you? Like, what does that tell you about what else they had? Right? Like if they're putting that just into a what if of witchcraft, imagine the actual like intel they were trying to get. So the witch gene theory, Himmler believed in a hereditary witch gene, quote unquote witch gene, that could be traced through generations, theorizing that witches possess special Germanic blood and their descendants might have latent magical abilities. Bro, so these are serious thoughts these people
then how did he decide what witches were going to be around Hitler?
I'm assuming, right? And again, right? It's all alleged because we don't really know. No, right? Because a lot of the documentation was lost,
and a lot of these guys died,
and a lot of these guys died or fled.
They were just fled, died, or were killed during the
trials.
Mm-hmm.
Hillenberg?
I forget the name.
Hillenberg, something like that. Something with an H. What I'm assuming that they did is that they went through their whole process, right, of finding the gene or whatever. I'm almost certain that they found some kind of genetic code that was rare in Germany, and they're like, witches.
Probably.
You know what I mean? This got to be witches. And so, I mean, like, imagine you're in Germany at this time, and an SS officer comes to you and say, hey, we found traces of your genes, you know, which gene in your blood. Like, we're going to take you with us. We're going to house you. We're going to feed you. Are you going to say no?
No.
If you're Germany, right? If you're German, right? Like like they're gonna just be like, oh yeah, like don't kill me. Like I've definitely got the witch gene.
See, and what's funny is, you know how like they say one of the reasons Hitler persecuted the Jews was because of like not Catholicism, but because he says like, oh, they killed Jesus.
Yep.
But yet Himmler, from what I'm reading, they viewed that the Catholic Church was during the Middle Ages wrongly persecuting the witches in Germany.
Maybe they saw him as like gifted by God then? Because some people are like, no, like he's not crazy because he hears voices. Like it's a gift from God that he's able to do that.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. I don't know.
And what's crazy about it is that the SS viewed the witches as being Nordic healers. Oh. So they were like, they have healing powers and abilities, and that's kind of why I'm like, okay, that makes sense why they would have him around Hitler. Because for those of you that didn't know, Hitler actually had like bad stomach issues that he had to take medication for, and that'll tie into one of the conspiracies later.
Yeah. And this is the castle that we were talking about, right?
Yeah, even like shows and movies kind of play with this.
Well, yeah, we look at Marvel
or like Hellboy.
Yeah,
because the Nazis are what brought him in.
Yeah, but like you think of like Marvel, right? I guess they change it, right? It's Hydra, right? Not Hitler. So, but like that's how the Scarlet Witch. No, well, now that's how the Scarlet Witch became, because they were. At first, they were supposed to be like science experiments, but now I guess I don't know what the fuck Disney's doing anymore. Acolytes fucking suck, by the way. I hate that fucking show. Anyways, but
I just think
like that. But yes, you see it in a lot of
like
movies
having a government do this much research into like occult stuff and all that kind of where they don't.
Teams to do this. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they had like a small section in the office.
And that's
like,
why you see like all those games like Call of Duty, fucking Nazi zombies, because their scientists had no limit. Here's as much money as you need. Do whatever you want with that. Figure it out. Bring us something.
The goal is to win.
Like
the goal is to win.
We don't have it in here, but what most people don't know is most of the Nazis are on meth. Like that's why you see Hitler during the Olympic Games. He's tweaking like hard, like he's doing the. With his jaw and stuff like that, and he's like rocking himself back and forth.
Oh, dang!
Then a lot of the soldiers, like on the front lines, would do meth because it'd keep them awake and sharp, so they wouldn't have to go to sleep.
Damn!
Like you can look it up. They would give him an amphetamine, and
I know the Japanese, right? The Japanese did the same thing. Like that was drugs. The kamikaze thing, right? Because you were just so.
And then you dishonor your family if you didn't die. They blamed a lot of them, like. Kamikaze pilots, it's because of you cowards that we didn't win the war. And I'm like, no, it's because America #1, smartest people ever.
Scoreboard. And so this is like the castle you were talking about, allegedly used for occult rituals, and as a center for the SS. The castle was redesigned to resemble King Arthur's castle and featured a round table room for SS leaders mimicking Arthurian legends.
They just made that in 2020 museum.
Oh, really? You can go see it?
Yeah.
And for people that don't know the story behind King Arthur and stuff, right? That's where Excalibur and a lot of
Knights of the Round Table.
Knights of the Round Table. It's that you always see the meme, right? And it's like all the knights around the table, and it's like
putting their swords.
Yeah, they're putting their swords, but it's something dumb like who has the best spicy McChicken, and it's like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, and like they're all sitting at the round table. You know what I mean? Like that's where but it was a different, like it had such a different meaning to these people.
Yeah. And
it's hard to put yourself in their shoes because they're fucking nuts, right? Like they're crazy. But when we really, like from an academic standpoint, from a research standpoint, we try to put ourselves in their shoes. Even doing that, like, I don't even understand how you fully believe in this so much, dude.
Like, did they see something,
sold, bro? Yeah.
Did they see something, or did they experience something where they're like, you know what, they're right. There is like some things with these occult rituals.
And if we're like really thinking about it, right? Like maybe it was the meth, the mixture of the meth and all that stuff.
Okay, we're gonna go far left field. Mm-hmm. Maybe them, besides gassing the Jews and exterminating the Jews, maybe some of that they were like, hey, if we kill enough people, we can give it to whatever entity we believe in.
It was almost sacrificial.
Yes.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Because they say when you go to Auschwitz or you go to any of those concentration
we're in a podcast,
camps,
dude. You have to take your glasses off.
Right.
Think about that.
Right. For our audio listeners, we Matt took off his glasses and showed his asshole.
It's exactly how that happened. Think about that. No, that's like, dude.
Because you go to Auschwitz
wild,
and stuff like that, and people say it's a weird feeling. Like
Yeah.
something within you knows like a lot of people died here.
Well, I mean, you look back at like the Mayans and shit, right?
Oh yeah, sacrifices for days.
Sacrifices all the time,
Yeah,
right? For everything, right? Like, I want to take a shit tonight, so let's sacrifice somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like it was just a thing.
And like a lot of civilizations did that. Mayans, Aztecs, and you really think about it, and it's like
the Romans did it too.
Yeah, and even like Catholicism, when they would sacrifice a lamb.
Yep.
So what is it that all these civilizations sacrifice things for these higher beings?
Yeah, like where did that come from, right? Like where did the idea of, and maybe it's one of the just primitive sides of our brain that we have, right? That can't comprehend killing another person.
So we look for
we look for something in that. You know what I mean? When people want to do it. Because it's like, I met this really, really great defense attorney in Washington, D.C. one time. And he was telling me, he goes, if I'm in a courtroom and I go up there and I'm telling the story about a woman who was, I don't like SA'd, right? Mm-hmm. But what I tell you is that in the middle of the night, this guy goes and kicks down the door, runs up to the girl's room, boom, puts a bullet in her, goes to the mom, and then boom, puts a bullet in her, right? Do you envision yourself from the mom's point of view looking? Or do you envision yourself from the shooter looking down at the mom? From the guy looking down at the mom, right?
Yeah.
And most people do that because you're trying to comprehend how the hell can somebody do that?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe all these things that we have in every culture that has had some sort of sacrificial rites or sacrificial tendencies to get stuff out of it is all from that point of view of like how is it so easy for somebody to kill somebody?
Huh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He told me that and I was like, dude, like, yeah, no, I definitely envision myself as a shooter. And he was like, you envision yourself doing that because civilized people can't wrap their minds around killing people.
Yeah.
You know, killing somebody else. So totally went off there. Good Lord. This one's really cool. I like this one.
I can ramble this one.
I like this one a lot. This one's wild.
Go ahead. The next one we're doing is the Spear of Destiny. If you guys don't know which one that is or what that is, it was a spear, a lance that stabbed the side of Jesus by the he was a Roman soldier named Longinus, right?
Yep.
And so when he stabbed Jesus, allegedly, he had bad eyesight. When Jesus' blood got on him, it cured his bad eyesight. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so that spear, whoever holds that spear and uses it in combat, like they win. And so the theory is, let me pull up my notes, viewers out there. So the theory is that throughout history, like many rulers had that spear, especially Charlemagne, because he carried it.
From the Breakfast Club?
He carried it and won 47 campaigns. Damn. And so if you lose or drop the spear, you're going to have immediate misfortune or defeat. And they say Charlemagne, when he lost it, he died shortly. Well, he dropped it and then lost it in battle, and he died within like the next day. And so the reason we bring it up with the Nazis is because they say that the Spear of Destiny, that Adolf Hitler had it. And he had it in Austria, and that's why he was so successful. I mean, please ignore the tacticians out there who are like, actually, why he was so successful in Poland, and please ignore the tacticians out there why he was so successful in Russia. Just bear with us. They said that's why he was so successful in Poland is because Hitler, he wasn't wielding it, but he had it close enough to his forces that they were victorious in Poland and Russia. But then the reason he started losing in Russia is because it started getting too far from his forces because they pushed too far into Russia. So that's why they started losing and stuff like that. And it's said to still be in a museum, but I've heard from a lot of people that the one in Vienna is actually a dupe to duplicate. That the real one's actually hidden because they're not going to put
one of the mines or something.
Yeah, because they're not going to put the real one on display.
It's important to know too that Hitler's obsession started with it because he saw it as a young boy.
Yeah,
he saw it as a young boy, and Hitler, like any kind of research you do during World War II, it'll always come back to Hitler had always had like a wanting to rule the world type of mentality. Yeah, always had. And he could have been killed, you know that, right? Mm-hmm. In war one time, and the
World War I.
Yeah, and the guy didn't drop him. Isn't that crazy? Could have altered history, dude, dropping that one guy. Yep. And for some reason, that guy didn't pull the trigger. Right? Maybe there's those spiritual forces that knew what Hitler was going to do. Right? Bad spiritual forces.
Yeah. Come on, we're talking conspiracies here. Let us ramble on.
Yeah. Knew what Hitler was going to do and fucking...
We got to protect him.
Is what protected him from not...
Maybe we should do an episode on like the occult.
Dude,
we start having nightmares and shit.
No, for real, seriously. Some claim Hitler's defeat coincided with the U.S. Army's taking possession of the spear, which would be crazy if we have it. What if that's our success, military-wise?
Right.
Then that's what, dude. One of the creepiest things I've ever saw was watching George H.W. Bush Sr. Maybe he's not George H.W. Bush. Is he George? I don't know. Whichever one. George Bush Sr. At his funeral, the head of the Secret Service guys came in. Dude, they looked like terrifying, bro. Like, you know how like you always get the creepy like guy that's head of like the secret military and he has the little hunch and they just walk in real slow. They looked exactly like that. 3 of them. There's 3 of them. They walked up, they paid their respects, and they walked out and never saw them again. Head of the CIA. They were head of the CIA and Secret Service things. What it was. Damn. Crazy, dude. Like they were like.
I always think about that. Like, you know how they always say there's a government within the government, and then that the U.S. military has a black budget.
Yeah.
So it's like a blank check. They can do whatever they want.
Well, it's not if they have a black budget.
There
is a black budget.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can see it. Like you can see it where they're like, it's like, why are we spending $40,000 on hammers? You know.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, well. You know, we need them.
You want us to win or not?
Yeah. The historical significance of the spear was part of the regala of the Holy Roman Empire and used in coronation ceremonies for centuries.
Which is crazy.
So it's not... Which is crazy, right? Because if we... Sorry, I didn't mean to...
No, you're good. Because the Roman Empire started worshiping Catholicism.
Exactly.
And then this spear killed Jesus, and we're going to use it in our ceremonies.
You know, and that goes on the... Like, if there's no... How is there no, like, historical evidence of Jesus? But then wouldn't that be historical evidence?
Yeah.
Right? Because if they had it, they used
They've officially admitted there's historical evidence of Jesus. But they said they don't... There's another... conspiracy about Jesus, because you know how in the Bible, well, in the Catholic Bible, there's a gap from when he's like age 13 to like 30. Mm-hmm. Well, there's this guy who followed Jesus. Actually had a bedroom in Egypt, I think it was in Cairo, when he was studying, and they made that a shrine so you can go there and worship the room Jesus slept in, because allegedly, okay, we're tangent here, Jesus, he learned how to heal people not from God, but because he went from Egypt to India and other places and took it from all other religions. And then the dude got into like, well, because, you know, humans and frequencies and vibrations. And
Jesus got into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That he got into that, and then that's how he was able to heal people. It wasn't like from God. And I'm like, okay.
Not directly from God.
I was like, okay, chill out, relax.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, look at and then, you know, when Jesus was a kid, he killed people, right? He killed a teacher and he killed a kid.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You can. It was in one of the scriptures that the Catholic Church took out, but you can still look it up and read it. Where a kid bumped into Jesus when he was a kid, and he killed him. And then Mary got pissed, so he brought him back to life. And then his teacher, he was upset with his teacher because of something, killed him. And I mean, I get what they were trying to show is like even Jesus is still human, even though he has these godlike powers. Yep. But you try to tell like a Catholic that or anyone else, and they're like, no.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most important things that comes to the story of Jesus Christ is that he was made to be human in certain aspects.
So he would have flaws, wouldn't he?
So that way he would have flaws, right?
But then they never talk about Because allegedly Mary Magdalene was Jesus' wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they say because she has her own scripture that the Catholic Church took out, and they say that the reason they call her a whore and all that all the time, that she was a prostitute and stuff, is because that's the best way to, back then in those days, denounce somebody and discredit them by calling them a prostitute and a whore. Anyway, huge tangent. We can go on forever about the
Real
Bible
quick, I'm going to stay on that for a little bit. That's one of my favorite conspiracies of all time is that
Jesus had kids?
Yeah, that Jesus had kids, so that's the true...
Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is not a chalice because supposedly it was supposed to be the chalice that caught God's blood.
Yeah, Jesus' blood.
Or Jesus' blood when they
technically, if you believe in the Holy Trinity, Jesus is God and God is Jesus.
Oh, well, thank you, Javi.
And they're like, they're two different people. And
but
I'm like,
instead of it being an actual cup, it's a blood line.
That makes sense.
And that's one of my favorite things from the Da Vinci
that's
Code.
what the Vatican's protecting?
Exactly.
Because the Vatican has the biggest private military in the world.
They also have, records on records on records on
that
records.
Not the average priest is allowed to unless you're a cardinal?
Not even the average cardinal can. Yeah, you have to be, what is it? It's like red then purple or something, whatever the purple guys are.
Isn't it like that movie where the dude...
I said the purple guys, and all I thought of was the...
I thought of the dude from McDonald's.
No, I thought of, not Grimace. I thought of the... I thought of those guys. I don't know why.
So, because isn't it like that movie where it's a priest who wrote about his experiences doing exorcisms?
Father Amorte.
I think so. So
the one that did the most amount of
exorcisms, right?
Father Amorte.
Isn't it because even he said he had trouble getting into the Vatican archives? That even he had to go to the Pope, and the Pope was like, "Hey."
So I read his book.
Pretty good.
This is a legit quote from the book. He said, "The devil is alive, and it lives in the Vatican Church. It lives in the Catholic Church."
Well, have you heard a theory about that? That when the Spain did their whole their Inquisition, that okay. It's a theory from a movie, but I see credit with it, where a demon actually possessed the Pope at that time, and so that's why he had them do the Spanish Inquisition and kill everyone.
Oh, wow!
Because the philosophy is how do you destroy the Catholic Church? Well, you possess priests and people in power, and then make them believe they're worshiping God when they're not.
Damn!
And then push them to commit atrocities and do horrible things.
Damn. That's terrifying. Well, you look at the Catholic Church now and what the Catholic Church is doing, and it's crazy because I guess I don't know if it's altering or veering away from where it was before, becoming more modernized or what it is. But I'm not a hardcore, I don't even pretend to be a hardcore Catholic in any sort of way or a hardcore religious person in any sort of way. But I like history. History, and even watching things change is very interesting to me. And so seeing the Catholic Church now adapt into what it's adapting to, it's veering far away from its not original beliefs, but its beliefs that it had, for centuries.
Yeah, 100%.
Centuries, which is crazy to me. Back to Spear Destiny, though, the fact that they think now that it's hidden by the U.S. government is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it could... if you really theorize and you really think about it, how much sense does that make for a brand new country? We're relatively new. We're not a very old country, right? In the grand scheme of things.
And granted.
And we've excelled
at
in
killing
military
people.
Power. No, for real.
Yeah.
We've excelled in military power like crazy.
Realistically, everyone's like, "Oh, we lost Vietnam, right?" But who was it? Nixon?
Yep.
They asked Nixon multiple times because they found where a bunch of NVA bases were in Cambodia and Laos. And they asked him, "Let us go in, let us push in, and we will win the war." And he was like, "No." So I feel like a lot of the times we lose because politicians lose their stomach to war. They're like, "No, we can't keep killing all these, but you want us to win, right?" So sometimes it takes...
Yeah. Sometimes you got to make hard decisions.
Like dropping 2 atomic bombs on a country.
Dropping 2 atomic bombs. Bohemian Grove, baby. That's where we discussed it. You know that, right? No, that's what they say. You didn't know that?
No.
So Eisenhower was a part of Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
And they say that it was officially said that in Bohemian Grove is where they committed to dropping the 2 bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And so when who was it, FDR?
Yeah.
Right? He's the one that officially dropped the bomb, right? So when FDR came in office, he already knew that was the end goal, was to drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
I know it was supposed to be Tokyo, but because of the cloud coverage,
backwards or something.
They decided to divert because they had primary and secondary targets, of course.
That's crazy.
And on Godzilla.
The
Bikini Atoll.
We fought Godzilla.
Bikini Bottom. That's where it comes from in SpongeBob. Anyway.
Oh my God, that is where it comes from.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where Bikini Bottom is. There was an actual place called Bikini Bottom.
Bikini Atoll.
Bikini Atoll, there you go. And we dropped bombs on it.
Yep, and everyone who lives there has
talking fish.
And birth defects.
Did you know there's a place in San Antonio that apparently, like, Kelly Air Force Base had, like, dropped a lot of shit into the water, and there's a triangle of, like, an area of that, like, birth defects and stuff like that?
Shit. Well, you know that, the monkey, the place where, I don't think a lot of people live in San Antonio here know, because it kind of ties into Nazis, maybe, experimenting on things.
Yeah.
That we have a place that's run by the government where they test viruses and stuff on monkeys.
Here?
Yeah. Swear on my life. I know one of the cops who, when he does overtime, he'll ride around the perimeter.
That I had no idea.
Yeah, and they have their own internal security. Like, SCPD isn't allowed inside.
Ooh.
They're just roaming the outside, and then they have a lot of security because they test viruses and stuff on monkeys.
Oh, that's nice.
And I joked with the guy who was over there. I was like, "Hey, dude, fucking get in there and make sure 28 days later happens.
No,
release the monkeys."
That's crazy. This is one of my favorite conspiracies. Nazi Antarctica, where it's believed that in 1938, well, not believed, there's evidence of this, right? Or am I feel like I've seen photos, but who knows, right? Who knows?
I'm pretty sure there is.
Or not. I've seen photos of this. In 1938, there was a Nazi expedition led by Alfred Richter, the German Antarctic expedition of 1938 to 1939 aimed to establish a German presence in Antarctica and claim territory known as New Swabia. Swabia?
I think so.
New Swabia.
Sorry, I'm looking up...
No, you're good. So Base 211/New Berlin. Theory suggests that Nazis built a secret underground base in Antarctica known as Base 211 or New Berlin, housing thousands of personnel and scientists.
Yeah, because the Nazis, they say they're the ones who, like, originally found the pyramids in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yes, pyramids in Antarctica. That's another conspiracy we can get into.
What episode? It was like 2 episodes ago or something like that. We talked about it.
Yeah.
We talked about the pyramids in Antarctica, but there's always been like this mysticism with Antarctica
because you have to get government permission to go over there. And
yeah,
they say,
can't just go.
They say, well, it's because they're protecting the penguins. But I'm like,
And there's also been like other expeditions even before, right? In
well,
like the
we're ignoring the group of U.S. soldiers who went over there to, I guess, kind of counteract the Nazis getting there. And only a couple of them came back, and one of them got the Medal of Honor. But they don't really. They just say, "Oh, he made it there first. They got there."
Huh.
So they're like, "Well, why did he get the Medal of Honor?"
Yeah, you get a Medal of Honor for just showing up.
Yeah. So one of
sense.
them was interviewed, and he was like, because he's the last surviving member. It's called Admiral Byrd's expedition, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to reveal the truth."
Well, it's also like Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin has been on record for talking about aliens and a sort, like I said, there's that mysticism that is with Antarctica and aliens and maybe a past from Earth, right?
Yeah.
That was way advanced in its time that allowed us to, one, live in Antarctica, but two, and that's where the idea of, what's the Hollow Earth thing called again? Something with an R, right? I don't remember.
Hollow Earth theory?
Yeah, the Hollow Earth theory, but I forgot what the actual thing is called. The actual civilization is called. But that's supposed to be where you enter, right? Is Antarctica?
Yeah, it's one of the
like
entrances.
There's always
because one of the other entrances is Mammoth Cave, here in the U.S. because it's like the biggest cave in America. Where so far they've only mapped 450 miles, but it goes on.
Jeez, 450 miles
of caves.
That is stupid long.
That's scary.
That is crazy. Imagine all the shit that could be down there. But like I said, right? Like there's always these theories that come out with Antarctica, because it's just so much uncharted territory out there, and we don't know what's out there. And then when you have people like the Nazis that are obsessed with these occult and spiritual ideologies, are now wanting to go and set up a base over there, right? Like wanting to go set up a base and wanting to go set up all these things to allow them to be able to freely do all their experiments and everything, and then just dip like that, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, because if you really think about it, how did the Nazis have all the tech they had? The only reason they lost is because Hitler failed to fund a lot of that tech, like the fighter jets.
I was just gonna say
it was already going
D-Day, bro.
They were going to be produced before D-Day, but Hitler thought it was a stupid idea, so they didn't fund it. But if they had it for D-Day, we would have gotten our teeth kicked in.
It would have been destroyed.
Because hey, can I show real quick?
Oh my god.
Yeah, like they started encountering them when they started pushing closer to Germany, the bomber groups, and it was they never. Of course, you never seen it before, so like what the fuck. Yeah. And that ties into the Nazis also had drones before we did. And so it was a big secret. They sunk one of our ships with a fucking drone. Right?
Oh,
and they covered that. There was only like a handful of survivors. And they told them you can never tell anyone what took out your ship. So for years, until recently, they finally declassified. I learned about it in high school with my history professor.
Oh, man.
Or history teacher. They declassified it. And it was like, no, yeah, the Nazis used a fucking drone to sink one of our ships.
But it wasn't like an unmanned drone, though, right?
It was like it was unmanned.
Huh.
Like a crash into
so maybe it's just like a glider kind of thing.
It was
like shot off a glider?
I think it was like jet propelled or something.
What?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it for you.
That's crazy. I knew about like the whole thing with D-Day and all that stuff because that was pretty fucking big, right? It's like if Germany had the jet, we would have been, just fucking destroyed.
It was called the Fritz X, which was the first precision guided weapon deployed in combat and the first to sink a ship in combat. So it was more like a wire guided bomb. But they launch it from a aircraft and then they guide it in.
That's pretty.
Come on, that's pretty fucking up there with tech.
Pretty fucking.
We had nothing like that.
Time? I'll throw some pictures up of it.
There's some video of it, but I don't know where it is.
Dude, that is crazy.
I forget which ship it sunk, but it sunk them like, and everyone was like, "What the fuck was it?" There we go, the USS Savannah.
Like
during the invasion of Salerno.
And and this goes into the argument like that we have now, where it's like people are like, should we be really putting that much money into our military? And other people are.
Yeah.
They might not report it.
The Chinese, the Chinese are gene splicing. I say this all the time, but they're trying to make super soldiers.
Super soldiers, literally trying to make super soldiers.
Here like, oh, we can't do that's unethical.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to make Captain America, dog.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like, it's going on out there, and like
the Chinese are doing it. Have you seen? I've been looking for the video. I can't find it anymore. Where it's literally vats of body parts that a dude in China was recording. I swear on my life, deleted from everywhere. Remember I sent it to you?
I remember, yeah.
And you were like, what the fuck is that?
We should have saved it too.
We should have. Nope. And now nobody can find it. There used to be a subreddit on Reddit where they were showing the atrocities China committed. And then one day, poof, whole subreddit's gone. Because there were people getting inside videos of crazy shit.
That's crazy.
We're going to fight the Chinese out there, all right?
Yeah, no kidding.
We're 100%. Like, if you think we're not, if you think they don't already have dudes inside of our country picking out like fucking everyone's picking out targets, picking out critical infrastructure so that when they decide to invade Taiwan, they hit our grid or they hit our oil refineries or our military production plants, whether that be ammunition plants like Lake City or where you produce tanks or maybe some of our freaking dry docks for the Navy. If you think that's not going to happen, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, tangent, because we're talking about how the Nazis had all this badass technology.
Yeah.
And if, thanks to them not funding it, we won. But imagine if they funded, and when we hit, because you can watch that alternate history from the History Channel, where if they had the fighters, we would have lost D-Day.
Like they would have won easily.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. And even at that, like, people think like, oh, we fucking destroyed him in D-Day. Like, we really didn't.
Just because nobody woke up Hitler. Yeah.
It was like,
all they had to do was turn around that Panzer Division to go to the beaches.
Exactly. And so, and people don't realize how fortified D-Day was too, I think, unless you really look. I think people don't understand it anymore.
Yeah, because they really only talk about Omaha Beach.
Omaha Beach.
They don't talk about the other beaches.
Yep. It's really Omaha Beach is what we always talk about.
Yeah, because Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that.
Exactly. Hey, did you know, complete tangent, Saving Private Ryan was the first movie ever shot in 4K?
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
But no TV was good enough at that time, and no movie theater was good enough at the time to watch anything in 4K.
Did you know a lot of, we talked about this a lot, how a lot of veterans were like, they had a hotline for them and priests after the movie.
Yeah, after the movie.
Because a lot of them, like, it fucked them up because it was so, like, vivid.
I
had a first sergeant when I was in high school in JROTC that he was in Vietnam. I'm pretty sure he was Mac VSOG because he talked about wearing their get-ups and the test to get into Mac VSOG. But anyway,
so
neither here nor there.
Back to going with Antarctica, where we're talking about Antarctica. One of the biggest things that they always talk about too with the Nazis and Antarctica is that was the fallout shelter. You know what I mean? That was where they go when shit hit the fan.
Yeah, if they lost.
If shit hit the fan.
Yeah, when
so that was when they lost. And that was the big thing after we'd won World War II, that there was a theory that a U-boat with high-ranking officials, possibly even Hitler himself, had fled to Antarctica. And that's where they reside to.
Well, you heard off the coast of Argentina, Tim Kennedy does a Finding Hitler series.
Yeah. Yep.
He interviews people who have lived around that coast for years, right? Years. And a lot of people said they did see them scuttle a U-boat in that area.
Well, I mean, is it still a wonder if there's Nazis over there? Because
those villages full of people they speak German.
Speak German.
And they have their the medals that their ancestors won.
Yeah.
And like most of them were
SS. Some of the biggest Nazi memorabilia and some of the oldest stuff that we found was from Argentina and families in Argentina. Like it should should not be a secret any longer.
Yeah, exactly. And most
tons of people,
the high-ranking Aryan Brotherhood guys, come from South America.
Yeah.
Because they have actual lineage and bloodlines to SS members.
I mean, don't forget about Project Paperclip either, right?
Yeah, I mean, we recruited so fucking many of them. But that's later on, right?
I think so. I think I have it on here, but yeah, we'll get that later on. And then that's what led into the Admiral Richard E. Byrd whole thing, is where in 1946, 1947, there is a U.S. Navy expedition to Antarctica, and the conspiracy theorizes that there was a mission to destroy a secret Nazi base over there, and that's when that guy came back and got the Medal of Honor, right? And so it's like, what really happened over there then? To get a Medal of Honor, man, you don't just show up.
Just for discovering it first or flying over.
You don't just show up, you know what I mean? And get a Medal of Honor. So, and in 1946 and 47, I'm pretty sure we knew about Antarctica.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So, well, not pretty sure. We did know about Antarctica. So, like, why would you just get a Medal of Honor for showing up?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what doesn't make sense. But, I mean, bro, this next theory is almost as cool as seeing that Leprechaun movie in space.
What?
No. Have you never seen that? Have you never seen Leprechaun?
Nope.
What the fuck, Javi? I'm about to blow your mind real quick. Everybody out there is like, Javi's never seen fucking Leprechaun before?
I've seen like the picture, but I've never watched it.
Huh? Look at this guy, bro. Look at that. Huh?
Yeah, but some people say he was justified in his anger.
You know, look at this. Look at this.
Spanish. What the fuck? A lightsaber?
Leprechaun in space, bro. Leprechaun 4. so stupid. Nazis. That's all I gotta say. Nazis.
All right.
Total tangent. So if you couldn't tell by that, the next conspiracy is the Nazi moon base, bro. Right?
Yeah.
America was not the first to get to the moon. There's people that really, really, truly believe that the Nazis made it to the moon far before
it's
the United States.
It's because of their advancements with rockets, right?
Yeah.
That's why, like, the V2 rocket.
I mean, are we going to talk about who got us to space?
The Nazis.
The Nazis, dude.
Yeah, because they said early on, you walk into NASA and you click your heels together and say their catchphrase.
Yeah.
And you'd have a bunch of dudes jump up from their desks and do it too.
Like, von Braun.
Werner
von Braun was a known Nazi scientist. That's not a secret, man. I like why people act like it's a secret. It's not. We know that Werner von Braun had helped with advancements in technology when it came to rockets with the Nazis, and then he came and did it for NASA. You know, that's what it was, dude. So, but the conspiracy is that Nazis established a secret base on the moon using advanced propulsion technology. There's even alleged development by Nazi scientists like Victor. Huh?
They're the first looking UFOs, right? The circular ones?
They're the circular ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever really got off the ground.
Did you know that?
I've seen the video where it kind of lifts up a little bit.
And that reminds me also how they had, they're the reason why we have the B-2 stealth bomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't really field theirs because it was towards the end of the war. But, it is.
Yeah, they were burning papers at that time.
Yep. It's the Horton HO-229. It looks like they had them in bunkers. And we would drop our biggest bombs on them and fucking nothing. So, you've seen it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm kind of like, if they had that much of advancements and shit, what's to say they didn't have...
Their theory was, especially for the anti-gravity technology, their theory was that if it spun so fast, it would almost create, its own gravity. And so that would keep you locked down on your spacecraft or whatever it may be. If you were on whatever, right?
Kind of reminds me of Wolfenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, how they had the Nazi moon base and then Hitler moved to Venus.
Yep.
And you know how they built Venus in Wolfenstein? Slaves.
Jesus Christ. Everything always. That's always the answer.
Yep.
Everybody always goes back to slaves.
Wolfenstein's pretty cool if you want to see what it looks like if the Nazis win.
Wolfenstein's actually really, really good. So alien contact, there's another theory that claims that Nazis made the first contact with extraterrestrials receiving advanced technology, and that's why they were able to advance in spacecraft and stuff so easily. But I'm just imagining fuck were the aliens teaming up with Nazis for? Imagine.
Right. And
they're geez now.
Well, they say the moon base was so that they could do what Operation Iron Sky, which is when they reinvade Earth.
Okay.
But I'm like, but maybe
go over there, collect, and then come back and attack.
Well, did you see the Chinese made it to the dark side of the moon and they're just chilling over there? Well, they made it with I don't think people. They made it with a rover.
Hold up. We haven't made it to the dark side of the moon?
I think we have, but we were like, the fuck's over here?
Yeah. Have you ever heard? It's so hard to listen to shit now, right? But because of the AI and stuff, you can make a dupe of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever heard where it's Buzz Aldrin and Neil? They're on there and they're talking about how they can see beings off in the distance, standing, and they're we're not sure what's going on. And apparently,
that's terrifying.
And apparently that's because it's a known fact that when they were watching the landing for the first time, that it kept cutting out. There were points where it would cut out and then it would come back and then it cut out and then come back. And they think that because there was a delay, there was a 3-minute delay, that's what the reason why the 3-minute delay was there was just in case.
So they can cut.
Exactly. So the U.S. government could cut stuff out when they needed to. And so when they were hey, I'm not sure what we're seeing, but I swear to you that we see beings standing on here.
That's terrifying.
It's really eerie, dude. It's really, really eerie because it sounds just like them. And like they're just talking back and forth. They're like, we see somebody over there, and he's like, Neil, like, what do you think that is? And they're like, oh God, they're walking away. And then it's crazy.
Isn't it Buzz Aldrin or Neil Armstrong that did say there are aliens?
Buzz Aldrin has said, but that's the thing, right? It's like he started saying that, and so then the family came on. They're like, yeah, like in his old age, he started to go crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
It's the government being like, hey.
One of my favorite things to watch is when they're doing the press conference after Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong are back on Earth, and all three of them are sitting there, and it's like a Secret Service guy or somebody who works for NASA or something like that sitting there, and then it's Neil and then Buzz, right? And Neil starts talking about some stuff that they had seen, and you see the guy that's sitting next to him like this, and he like pinches his arm. Yeah. To like, hey.
Shut up.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
So.
Honestly, I think the aliens that we're going to interact with is probably going to be some type of like pathogen or something, realistically.
What do you mean?
Something that can survive in like the cold vacuum of space. I'm hoping it's not like The Thing.
Oh, well, you really can't see it?
Or like it basically takes the shape of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not some shit like that, but you never know.
Did you know that, like, if you watch the movie The Thing and you really pay attention, it tells you what happened at the very beginning? With the dog or whatever?
Oh, so the dog was?
Yeah. And that's how you know? Damn. That's crazy, right? It's good.
It's kind of like that other movie. Okay, hold on, tangent real quick. The one with Ryan Reynolds in space? There's a bunch of, like, famous actors in it.
Deadpool?
Right? Where they're on a space station and they find something on a meteor.
Green Lantern?
And they're on the International Space Station, and
whoa. Is it the one where they find that thing and it like crushes that guy's hand? Yes, dude, yes.
And then it like goes inside of their mouth.
Yeah. It looks like venom.
Yeah, I'm figuring we're gonna find something like that.
Damn, dude. I don't know.
That'd be terrifying.
I don't know. I think that there's too much. I just think there's too much out there that people have already seen.
Yeah. Well, have you heard the other theory?
Which one?
You know how Mars used to be like our planet?
Yeah.
Well,
we fucked it up.
Right.
Like that's the theory.
The other one is that every couple million years, Earth's gonna move out of the Goldilocks zone. Mars is gonna move back into the Goldilocks zone.
Oh.
Life. We die. Then it shifts, and then when we're advanced, we flee to Mars, becomes like Earth, and then Mars dies. Go back to Earth.
And it goes back. Wow. Which I mean, I guess could be possible, right? Because everybody thinks that we rotate in a circle, but we don't. It's kind of like an oval shape. And the other thing that you have to remember is that we're still moving through space. Mm-hmm. Like we're not in one location. We're kind of like moving this way, and we're circling around as we're moving.
Yeah.
And so that I mean, I could see that. God, that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be here though.
No.
Fingers crossed.
No, we'll be freaking glass at that point.
Yeah, for real, dude. We'll be.
How many times did we nuke ourselves?
Yeah, no, dude. Seriously,
not enough.
Well, that's one of the theories too, right? Is that we were on Mars and then war broke out. We nuked it to shit.
Yep. And then we fled over here.
People fled and then came over here, and that I think those are some of my favorite theories, man. I love it. I love that idea of starting another planet. So, suggestions that NASA was created to monitor and conceal Nazi lunar activities, with Apollo missions having secret objectives related to the Nazi base. So, the whole idea behind that, right, is that the U.S. government literally created a whole branch to watch and see what the Nazis were doing. What if they did, and they just, like, somebody fucked up? They left the door open and...
All of them are dead?
Yeah.
What? No, we got Wolfenstein based on a true story.
No,
he went to the Nazi moon base and killed them all.
Right? Like, it's just fun to think about those things, right? I don't know if it's fun, but it's crazy to think about those things that are going on. And when you think of these people that were so, I don't want to call them free thinkers because it almost idealizes them, but they were, right? Like, it was like, if we could think it, we can fucking make it. And that's what the Nazis were, dude. Because they just threw so much into it. Did you read this one yet?
So I couldn't find information on it.
This blew my mind, actually. So the next conspiracy we're going to talk about is Die Glock, the Nazi bell. a top secret Nazi project involving a bell-shaped device developed in underground facilities in a Nazi occupied Poland. So what they theorized that this bell could do, why, I have no idea, but it was anti-gravity and could help them time travel. Said to have anti-gravity and time traveling capabilities, possibly creating wormholes or other distorting space-time.
Well, isn't that what the Mist is based off of?
Yeah. I don't know if it was a bell though. Was it a bell?
No, it was like the U.S. military.
Wormhole. Yeah, it was a wormhole that, and they were trying to get to other dimensions and they fucked up and left the door open. They didn't close the gate after they left.
And isn't that what also Stranger Things is?
Yeah, there's another dimension that we're able to reach into, and that's where that's one of those things that we always just fascinate ourselves. I mean, look at the book I'm reading, right? The Dark Tower, right? There's other dimensions that you're able to leave. There's always that mysticism that we have. Interstellar,
yeah, right? Different dimensions. That aliens are dimensional beings instead of space.
Exactly, right? And like, there's other dimensions, and that's the whole theory. Another theory behind ghosts is that they're not ghosts. It's just there's another time, another place where everything looks like what you have, but there's other people living in there. And so it's our dimensions cross at some point.
And same thing with demons and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, the whole theory that demons are, like interstellar beings. They're more of dimensional creatures than heaven or hell type things. And so this is really playing on that same thing, right? The Nazis just thinking about all kinds of space travel and shit that they can do. So many scientists involved in the project allegedly disappeared after the war, with some believed to have been recruited by the U.S. and the Soviet Union.
Which is no surprise.
Which is no surprise, right? When we talk about paperclip and stuff like that, which we'll talk about here. But that's one of the things that absolutely blows my mind, dude, is that like even a bell, right? That they think that it's had some sort of, I don't know, vibrating power or whatever.
Something, yeah.
To allow them to go on. This is one of the more off the wall conspiracies, right? Because it's so random. That one's cool though. You got this one?
Virile energy, a supposed form of infinite energy that can be harnessed for various purposes, derived from Edward. What? 18th century novel, The Coming Race? Mm-hmm. See, I've always heard of the Thule Society, but I've never heard of the Virile Society.
Yeah. Virile Society, an alleged secret society that influenced Nazi leadership, believed to have been founded by medium Maria.
And isn't a medium like someone who can talk to ghosts and stuff?
Well, yeah, it's somebody who has mystical power, right?
Yeah.
And we see all of these conspiracies that revolved around this mystic power.
See, dude. I think they were onto something, because I forget what it is, but the U.S. government messed around with psychics for a long freaking time. Like, to the point that they would give them grid coordinates and they would be able to, okay, that's a Russian base. They would be able to go inside and look through filing cabinets. And so I forget the conspiracy.
Whoa, somebody chilling in a room could like go and look at, whoa.
So you can look up the conspiracy, because a lot of notorious dudes, you can look up their names and they'll actually talk about it. Where they would even, like, to make sure you're not bullshitting them, they would give them grid coordinates to bases here in America. And then tell, okay, what's in the third filing cabinet? Okay, the third filing cabinet, the thing in there says Operation this. And the CIA guy's like, okay, you're telling me the truth. But they said they murdered one of the guys because his wife sued the government because they didn't tell her that they cremated him or that he died until like 2 days after.
Damn.
Because he came to his handler and told him, hey, in Alaska, when I was trying to look across the ocean at what the Russians were doing, I saw that we had a base in one of the mountains and we're working side by side with aliens.
Oh.
And so they said they were in like the Area 51, like Las Vegas and all that. Well, they said when he went back to his casino, the hotel he was living in,
they were just waiting for
died of a heart attack.
Oh.
They took his body, cremated him, then told his wife 2 days later.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe they were onto something with psychics and stuff.
Well, one of the craziest thing about the Virile Society is that their claims that they were able to communicate with extraterrestrial through psychic mediums.
Isn't that why the CIA was giving dudes acid or something through IV?
Yeah,
so they can dimension hop?
Yeah. You know what I mean? So this is, and it's crazy how many parallels we pick up from the Nazis.
Well, how many scientists were from?
Exactly, right? How many scientists, when we're going to get to
this
that one
worked over here with the concentration camp victims. We're going to try it here in America.
And so, so the rumors of the Nazis' expeditions to find mystical civilizations like...
Ooh, Agartha.
Yeah, Agartha, believed to be... Agartha, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
The Hollow Earth theory.
Just fucking crazy.
Right, and then that ties back into Antarctica, because there was said to be a pathway to Agartha from Antarctica. And so this is believed... The Nazis believed that there was a lot of ancient wisdom and power that they could, utilize to help them win the war, which is crazy. And then after finally, we win the war, now we start bidding on who's going to take the scientists.
Yeah, so they said it was a race between us and the Russians of who can take the most scientists.
Operation Paperclip.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And so, speaking of like us grabbing Nazis and Nazis escaping, we should get into the escape real quick because I don't think we talked about it.
No.
Because so essentially, when they were doing that Finding Hitler TV series, they found from what was Hitler's bunker called?
Oh, you got me.
Hitler's bunker. His where he was hiding. So Hitler killed himself, right? Him and Eva Braun, his wife, the Führer bunker. That's right. Him and Eva Braun killed themselves, allegedly. But the only person who saw them blow their brains out, I'm pretty sure it was called the Führer bunker. The only person who saw them blow their brains out was was Hitler's right-hand man, which was his personal butler. So his personal butler then allegedly rolled their bodies up into carpets.
Oh yeah, Führer bunker.
Took them outside, poured gasoline on their bodies, and burned them. Right? So nobody saw Hitler and his body but his butler. So what they're thinking is it was a Hitler body double, because when the Russians came and invaded Germany and Berlin and all that, and they made it to the Führer bunker, the issue was that the Russians took his body away, and then when scientists modern day went to go look at the body in Russia, the body that they looked at and examined was a female's body. So nobody knows where Hitler's body is. So the theory was that he got into his version of Air Force One, which was so there was a tunnel from the Führer bunker.
U-boat.
So he went from the plane to Spain because the Spanish king at that time and the Nazis were like this.
Oh.
So he landed on. So okay, let me real quick back it up. From the Führer bunker, they found a tunnel that led to the airport. So they're thinking when they were getting pinched that he jumped into the tunnel with a bunch of other officers because they
blended in. I mean, you couldn't blend in though,
because they found a manifest with a bunch of these high-ranking Nazi officers.
Okay,
but no Hitler, right? But they think they were using a cover name because why would they?
Sure, why would they put Hitler's name on it?
So he got into that plane, the FW, I forget what it was, but it was like an armored plane that can take actual anti-aircraft fire. Flew to Spain, landed in the where the freaking castle was for the Spanish king.
Jesus Christ, okay.
And then from there, they went to the coast, hopped on a U-boat, went to Argentina, scuttled the boat. And the reason they believe Hitler made it to Argentina is because they found a Nazi compound in the middle of the fucking jungle, dude, with Nazi currency, Reich marks, a little bit of gold coins, and the stomach medicine Hitler took.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it was being taken back by the jungle. And then when Tim Kennedy was going around, because they had the ground penetrating radar, they found bunkers. So they were able to track where what bunkers he was hopping to for houses and basements. He would ask the people who owned the property, let me go into the bunker. Let me go into your basement. Let me go look. No. They would turn him away at every chance.
I mean, but what is what's the point of still keeping it a secret though, right? Like he's dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he survived, he's dead now.
Well, in Argentina, you know how many Nazis? The official count, 5,000.
That are still there?
That made it over there.
Oh, okay. But like, why wouldn't you? Like my point, right? My point is that people are always looking for a way, and this is me just playing devil's
because
advocate,
I guess
right?
in a way we didn't win in that aspect.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you have a bunker where Hitler allegedly lived after World War II, why wouldn't you put a fucking sign outside and said $10 tours come in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think of that because if you have that, people
People
always want to make money, right?
Thought they would be disgraced and people would completely shit and clown.
You think
on
it's
them?
maybe out of fear that they think that they're going to be shit on that somehow, like,
or retaliation from because Nazis are still in Argentina.
yeah, I guess so, right?
Because the Red Cross was helping Nazis in Argentina. They were giving them. They knew they were Nazis. They were giving them money and helping them get new identities and everything. The Red Cross.
Well,
and one of Hitler's most notorious scientists during I forget which country in the not Middle East country in the in South America when they were the dictator at the time paid him to torture his political opponents. Like, hey, bro, you can run your experiments on them. And what a lot of people don't know also is that a lot of Nazis fled to North Africa, right? You know who they hooked up with?
Who?
The imams. The Muslim religious leaders. You know why? Because they both... What the fuck, Perplexity?
What the hell? So I know there was a famous Nazi that lived in the United States that they found. Oh, here it is. Adolf Eichmann. But for some reason when I typed it in, it brought up Osama bin Laden.
But real quick, back to the North Africa.
Yeah.
You know a lot of these Nazi officers fled to North Africa and teamed up with Muslims over there to continue killing Jews?
What?
Because Muslims... I don't know if we can leave this in, but extremist Muslims,
extremists
have a hatred for Jews, right?
Okay.
So these Nazi officers were like, "Well, I'm going to team up with these imams because we still have that same hatred for Jews." And let's be real, like people in North Africa didn't really have the same hate for Nazis as we do in the Russians and Europe.
Sure.
Because they invaded North Africa, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but they invaded them and brought a lot for them.
Yeah.
It's like the whole idea of like why Hitler came to power.
Mm-hmm.
Germany was on their hands and knees, dude, struggling. And this guy comes out and says, "Hey, I will pick you up from the ashes and make you great again." Because they got screwed after World War I, right? Like,
yeah.
And so, that's what a lot came up. But this that I was looking up, there's a movie made about this guy.
Well, think about how many fucking Nazis Mossad had found and killed, and that we don't know about.
Yeah, I completely agree. But Adolf Eichmann was a high-ranking SS officer for Nazi Germany. He played a major role in organizing the Holocaust. After World War II, Eichmann escaped to Argentina. He lived under an alias Ricardo Clement for about a decade. In 1960, a Israeli Mossad agent captured Eichmann in Buenos Aires. He was secretly taken to Israel to stand trial. Eichmann's trial in Jerusalem began April 11th, 1961. He was charged with 15 criminal counts, including crimes against humanity. Dude, this guy had a whole family. He was married. He had kids. And like everybody said, like he was the nicest guy. Like was always very helpful, always did this stuff. But I mean, I guess that's how you are, right? Like,
you want to know what's fucking wild?
Tell me.
Argentina they welcomed up to 5,000 Nazis. Brazil took anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000. Chile took 500 to 1,000. Paraguay, no specific numbers, but they were open to Nazis. The Catholic Church and the Red Cross assisted Nazis in obtaining false documents to travel to South America. And, okay, I don't know why it's saying this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
off the wall.
I don't know why.
I like it.
I don't know why this app is like, Perplexity's kind of like, well, those countries may have accepted Nazis, but they also accepted Jews.
Okay, does that make it better or something?
It says it's important to note that while these countries did become safe havens for Nazis, they also accepted many Jewish refugees. What the bro? Why are you trying to defend these countries right now? These countries accepted Nazis, dog. Like, come on. You fucking kidding me?
Perplexity, Nazi sympathizers.
Honestly.
Allegedly.
Because, allegedly, we only brought 88 Nazi scientists over, but it was way
88?
more than that. Yeah.
So that's Operation Paperclip, right? Where the U.S. intelligence program from 1945 to 1959. This says they brought about 1,600 plus German scientists to the U.S. after World War II.
Bro.
Originally called Operation Overcast, aimed to exploit German scientists' expertise for U.S. military and space programs. Conducted by the Joint Intelligence Objective Agency, the JIOA, many recruits were former Nazi Party members, notably recruits Werner von Braun, critical to U.S. space program. Not critical. He was the space program.
Yeah.
It's literally...
You want to know what's fucking
Werner
crazy?
von Braun, and there is still photos of Werner von Braun that are held in NASA. Because, I mean, he fucking made the rocket that got us to the moon.
Yeah. And what's also crazy
and if he made it for us, did he not make it for the Nazis? Warner, come on.
Yeah, the V2. So one of the most notorious...
V2. That's what you gotta say.
One of the most notorious Nazi scientists, he was attempting to cure homosexuality, right?
Okay.
He fled to Argentina and continued his work to eradicate homosexuality. And guess who teamed up with him?
Who?
The Argentine Ministry of Health.
Damn, dude. That is crazy.
Well, the issue is us and the Danish authorities didn't take no action to persecute him.
Dude, look at this. Expertise areas: rocketry, aviation, chemical, biological warfare, and medicine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he helped us make some nice bioweapons.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. COVID?
Hey, that's a Chinese.
Oh, yeah. And it was an Operation Paperclip or Operation Overcast was approved by President Truman in September 1946.
That's wild.
Grabbed him, bro. Kidnapped him. Not even. Dude, we relocated their families and everything. It cost us about $10 billion to do all that. $10 billion to save Nazis. And it's the question, right? Do we use them to advance?
Well, because the Russians were.
For sure the Russians were. And that's why the Russians were so quick to go get Hitler's body and all that stuff, right?
You know they even destroyed the Führer bunker?
Really?
And everyone's like, well, why?
Why? Yeah, why would you do that? Huh. And then after that, that's when we turned around to Russia and was like, hey, you're
But
next.
at that time, the Soviets did the rape of Berlin, where they were just looting and burning down everything.
Yep.
And a lot of people are like, no, that's not true. And then a lot of surviving Germans are like, no, they were raping everybody and looting everything.
Yeah, well, that's like the an honorary mention conspiracy is all the photo editing that the Nazis used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Nazis used to go into homes and steal a lot of jewelry and stuff like that. And so, let me see if I can find it real quick. Not the leprechaun. Famous.
You notice a lot of these old horror movies have a lot of essay undertones.
Hardcore, right? Look at the one in the bottom.
Yeah,
left.
like the monsters are like, I'd essay you if I got the chance.
That's literally what they said. Just like that. So this is after this photo right here is really, really,
notorious.
Really. So you see this right here?
Uh-huh.
Look at that.
How he's holding them?
Nope. Look at the watches on his wrist.
Oh yeah. They were looting and sacking everything.
So they were looting and stealing a lot. I wonder if they show the edited photo. I guess not. So this is the real photo, and even this guy had stuff on his wrist too.
A bunch of watches.
Had a bunch of watches, like 3 or some shit.
Well, I mean, look at what they're doing in the Ukraine right now. They're taking fucking toilets. They're taking fucking TVs.
So when you go and you look at the official photo that they put out, these are all gone because they didn't want to show that they were also stealing. Isn't that crazy,
bro? But yet they strongest military in the world.
Yeah.
We pay them the most while they're stealing toilets. They're stealing TVs.
I like how you know what else blows my mind too a little bit? How like Hitler completely like brought Volkswagen into what it is today.
Yeah, Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
Porsche,
Puma?
I think so.
I think Puma was also, or maybe it was Adidas. One of the two. But like Volkswagen, dude, would not be here because if it wasn't for the Nazis.
Oh, God, I drive one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's a little bit of...
Yeah. Uh-oh. They're going to find you, Javi.
Right?
They're going to find
Figure out which one.
What is...
There was a lot of brands that helped out Nazi Germany. Well, because they were, in Nazi Germany.
Let me see if I can find this real quick before we get out of here. Well?
No, that's them escaping. Apparel. I know Hugo Boss made a lot of their stuff. All their uniforms.
Appeal.
You know what's a good movie? Schindler's List.
Never seen it. Not once.
We gotta watch it.
Dude, it's hard for me to watch shit like that.
Shit's a class. I mean, it's depressing. It's very depressing. Cause like they show the liquidation of the ghettos. Fucked, right?
That is.
And
really
you guys
crazy.
are seeing this part where we're saying it's fucked, right?
And now we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy, man. Nazi conspiracies are out there. If you haven't looked into these, I mean, I don't know anybody that really. I don't think it's bad to know about these things.
No.
I think it's interesting, right? Because we see how
one of our greatest enemies.
Literally, one of our greatest enemies thought and
how batshit crazy they kind of were.
Batshit crazy, dude. Teams of witches. I mean, bells that
Hitler taking meth.
Yeah, bells that make you like fucking time travel. I mean,
jets,
drones. Like, it's crazy to think about it, and it's important. I think it's important to know a little bit about history, and that we didn't. Sometimes people, I think now, right, where we don't pay attention to a lot of history anymore. I think now people think that we fucking destroyed the Nazis.
Yeah,
but we didn't win by that much, man. We didn't, and
some people like to give credit to the Russians.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I think it's also very important to know a couple of things. The United States didn't get into the war for a long time.
Mm-hmm. The Russians were doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Churchill was like begging for us to get in, and we were like, yeah, nah, man, it's just not. It's not our fight. It's not our fight. We're not going to get into it. And then
the Japanese emperor called Hitler. Yeah. Was like, hey, I bombed America's boats. You did what?
Yeah, for real. They were leaving us alone. We weren't fucking with them, you dumbass. And then that's when Fortune Sun starts playing.
Right? Nothing but our fucking bombers.
Yeah, that's it, dude. And so, but I mean, even to read about how World War II brought together FDR, Churchill, and Stalin.
You know, they almost they wanted to kill them.
Yeah,
when they were meeting in Iran, the Nazis did.
Yeah, there was a whole like assassin.
But the Nazis are weak. Yeah. Unlike the OSS that we had,
you can't do it like
left
me.
And right.
Yeah, right. Like to think about, you bring three of the biggest figures in history together. Like that's crazy to think that all three of them work together.
And then those spies.
Oh yeah,
money.
Oh yeah, like it's. I mean, it really, really is.
Like those guys were real James Bond back then.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then not to forget all the times that Indiana Jones stole all those relics from them.
Yeah, fucking.
That's canon. That's
real world 100%
canon. Yeah. But I mean, I hope you like this episode. These kinds of things are fun. Javi, what did you think of your cigar?
Sorry, Cassie. It was a solid 7 out of 10.
Ooh, 7 out of 10. That's pretty good. 7 out of 10 is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That's kind of high, actually, if you don't think it's that good.
I mean, it's not like I'm not going to go seeking it out. I mean, they're already in my humidor, though, so.
I mean, Steve Saka, man, if he's an asshole, like I said, I've never met him, so I don't know, but I've always heard he's kind of a dick, so. But if he is, this guy fucking knows how to blend a cigar. That's all I got to say, man. Just solid cigars all the time. Impeccable, really good. If you haven't got it, get some.
Yes.
Because Steve Saka just makes good stuff. And Javi's watching movies over here.
Yes.
Yeah, really good. I'm gonna give mine. I give mine like a 7.5. And I said mine's good.
All right.
7.5 is good.
It's not bad. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I think Javi should be like a 5. Because you're like, it's kind of good. But
I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5? Yeah. That sounds better. Other than that, I mean, everything from Antarctica to Nazis in Argentina to bells to moon bases. We've talked about it all on here. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, do all the things. Make sure that all of everything that just have a little bit of skepticism when you read about it. It's an alternate history kind of thing to read, right? It's not meant to be history. It's meant to be something that's far out there and make your mind think and even blow your mind a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Don't take it as set in stone. But I mean, listen about it, learn about it, because these kind of things are interesting, and sometimes we gotta have something like that. You know what I mean? But next week we are talking about
ancient civilizations,
ancient civilization theories and conspiracies. We're going to be talking about all kinds of off the wall stuff, ancient civilizations that were way farther advanced than we were, and that's going to be exactly, allegedly. And so that's going to be really cool. But other than that, we are two guys rambling. We appreciate all of y'all being here. The only place where you can get everything from us with no limits, no filter. But other than that, we're out of here. Later.
See you.